Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. Sean and Ron, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go.
Good. That's important that you can hear me, because then I can hear you and we're going to have a good webinar.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, everybody. Well, so today is part one of the launch 03. Part one is a bit more business oriented, like why are we doing what we're doing and what's new. On Friday, sorry, on Friday we're doing part two. That's much more technical. So hang in there, but this is going to be entertaining today. We're also recording it, so you can watch it later on if you're missing this, or if you want to share it with your coworkers. As always, there's the possibility to ask questions and chat with us. You guys are probably all familiar with Zoom. If you're having a hard time finding that kind of functionality, you can also raise your hand. There's all kinds of options to interact with us, so feel free to do that. I'll introduce our speakers. You see them on camera already, I think. So we got Ron van den Burg, our CEO. I think he will kick this meeting off in a little bit. And then we got Sean Devlin. He's our product manager and very knowledgeable about the whole stack, as you guys know if you've seen him before. I think we're ready to get started, Jens.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, so first a quick look at the agenda for today. We're going to introduce our next evolution in our flagship offering, which we call Servoy NG2. We're also excited to announce a powerful new web component for dealing with documents, as well as some additions to our security extensions. And then finally, at the end, we'll do a quick update on Servoy Cloud, which is our continuous delivery platform for business applications. Just a reminder that this is a two-part webinar series. So this is part one today. It's more the business track and the overview. So we'll be getting into the technical stuff on Friday and doing some cool demos. So we have that to look forward to as well. Ron, I think I'll kick it over to you to do a quick maybe background of the Servoy story, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I think before we dive into the details of what's in this release, I would like to take a small step back, or actually maybe a big step back, talking about the journey of Servoy. We started about 20 years ago. Can you imagine? With a really strong vision in mind. And I think the vision today is the same as we had envisioned 20 years ago. We really want to make a tool for developers around the globe to make really awesome business applications. We really were targeting developers who want to make sturdy, enterprise ready, internet ready, cloud ready, beautiful, easy to use applications. And that's still valid today. Of course, we wanted to give them a lot of power in their hands to make it very easy to develop those applications. And not limiting, let's say, what you envision, where you want to bring value to your customers, to the end users. And we did. And I think what's also, from early on, we envisioned that we want to keep that really future-proof. So when things came up like deploying an application in a web browser, we gave you the web client. The first versions of that, we gave you a mobile client. And as public cloud offerings became more and more dominant, we put Servoy Cloud into the offering. Yeah, and like I said before, a really important part of this is to keep that stack future-proof, because we really want to unburden our customers in not having to worry about their stack, their technology, because that's something we take care of. And we didn't want them to, like many other competitors, get stuck in legacy. If you look like technologies like Fox Pro, Magic, Progress, they kind of gotten stuck into legacy. And until now, we've lived up to that promise, I think, to keep that stack modern. And today I'm really proud that we keep on doing that. It took us at least 3 years to build a completely new modern front-end technology without you having to worry about that. And today we're announcing Servoy NG2, and I'm really, really proud of that.
Yeah, I feel like we hit another milestone on this journey to future-proof business applications and the companies that rely on them. When we launched the Servoy NG client, it was a pivotal offering for us because it came with the UX freedom that Ron discussed. From a technical point of view, once in a while, I think every ISV or enterprise application team has to modernize their stack, or else they get kind of stuck, as Ron was saying. And I feel like Servoy is just like our own customers. We're no exception. We have to deal with this challenge, and that's why we've been working on NG2, because it's really kind of the underlying technology was holding us back a little bit, but it was also more about that the technology itself, which was Angular 1 or Angular JS, was nearing end of life. And this is something that mature companies deal with when their technology is becoming obsolete. That they have to look at, well, what do? Do we just kind of ride it out as long as we can? Do we dig in and spend a lot of time to replace it? And a lot of customers come to us with the same dilemma, because maybe they're on a legacy technology that's holding them back. And we never want to be that company. In fact, we like to empower our customers to avoid that pitfall. And it's a real challenge for us. I think Ron said we spent up to 3 years now already on the rewrite, but we take a lot of pride in it because it liberates us to focus on our customers. It liberates our customers to focus on their businesses and their users. Instead of thinking about technology, thinking about maintenance, it all goes in line with that idea of removing burdens. And for our long-term customers, they've been able to kind of seamlessly move with technology as it changes and not really have to rewrite their own Servoy applications. That work is done for them. And for some of them, they don't even really need to know what's under the hood. So we're really happy about that.
Yeah, I think it's a really big leap forward for us. NG2, hopefully, I think most of our customers won't even notice it. And that's, I think, really, really amazing. Although it takes a tremendous effort to get this engineered. Yeah, after such a big innovation for us, what other stuff could we bring to the table today? And I think there's going to be more exciting stuff I'll tell you about, but maybe also stepping back a little bit on that is that we really like to be proud of helping our customers focus on technology, on value rather than technology, and how can you take that technology and turn it into value. There's so much stuff out there that you could take and eat up all your time just understanding the technology, and then it's not really value yet. So again, we like to really look around for stuff which we think we can turn around in such a way that it's very easy for you to take that and use it. And actually, one of the things I've personally been looking for many, many years, and I kid you not, we with one of our customers, we found this, and we were able to bring it to the table for all of you to now start using is a document editor. And what would it mean for you to really embed a document editor into Servoy? That's not only beautiful to use, really full featured, but is really aware of the application. And yeah, that's what we're releasing also today, is our smart documents editor.
Right, yes. So the document editor is a web component. So this is a kind of component you can drag and drop on a form in an application and give end users the ability to modify customized documents. So it really empowers application developers to innovate and bring a best-in-class experience for their users. And it's a really robust component, and so we're really excited to announce it. In terms of some of the features of the document editor, users can, of course, they can edit documents, and they have a whole range of tools and a customized toolbar and kinds of integrations and hooks that you would expect out of a powerful component. In terms of some of the use cases, I think a nice one is kind of like a threaded conversation or an activity stream where they can see rich comments that could be around like a help desk ticket or a customer, like customer notes in a CRM, and they can see that those comments in line. And it also includes the ability to do like a merge capability. So you have email templates or certain printed document templates, and you want to merge data from a variety of sources. And until then, we have been able to, integrate with a number of BI tools to do that, but that always requires an outside technology. It requires that you integrate the Servoy platform with another reporting engine, and that's a barrier in many cases. This one is native in the environment, but also for the end user as well. That brings up another important feature, which is a mentions or a tag inclusion. And this can come from data. So you can imagine that if you're typing a message on a customer note and you want to mention a customer service rep, and then that could trigger an action like send them a push notification or an email around this particular customer, and then you'll see it saved in the comments. It could also be tags that you're going to merge and replace when you're merging down an email template or a document template. So there's a lot of flexibility there and a lot of programmer hooks. So as I said before, Servoy integrates with a lot of business intelligence platforms, reporting platforms, and works really well for those kind of BI features. But one area we've seen for the beginning is people want to have ad hoc reporting, which is when end users can customize or create reports and execute them without having to have some kind of developer integration or something like that. And there are platforms that do that, but again, it requires an integration, often requires that those users go and learn a new tool. And you want to make applications which are easy to use and are pretty seamless for the experience. So we believe that allowing users to create and customize document templates is an excellent way to bring value into these applications. Of course, you would expect that any kind of document editor will be able to export in a variety of formats, and that's the case here as well. So you could, again, merge a document with data and then export a PDF and download it directly in the browser or email it as an attachment or something like that. So again, it would be kind of your standard, requirements for document management. But we think overall, this is a really huge leap forward in terms of a standard component that we can ship with the platform, and we're really excited to see where our customers take it.
Yeah, actually, a feature you missed, John, is you can copy paste from Word, for instance, into this component.
Oh yeah, I thought I had that in there. I think I took it out because it felt a little too technical, but yeah, that's actually a big deal for some of our customers. Yeah, their customers feel stuck on Word and they want to be able to just like paste out of Word and let it go. Yeah. So that's going to be a big deal.
I think it's for usability. I think it seems technical, but I think the usability of this is really, really good. Yep. This component is really well featured.
It also works from Google Docs as well, and Open Office and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's a nice, really nice and big feature to the platform. Yeah, if we talk again a little bit about the platform and extensibility of the platform, of course, the core of Servoy is really extensive and really robust. And but over the years, we learned that customers were, well, I would say missing features, but the features they were missing were not common to all. So I think 10 years ago, maybe shorter, we decided to to think about how can we make this platform, let's say, more extensible, more plug and play, because not everything is for everybody. And that's why we started launching and building what we call extensions. Extensions are things like, we have an extension which is called SVI utils, where you have calculation stuff in there. We have one which is about navigation. So that's one really important aspect of making our platform extensible and more, let's say, fit for purpose. And these extensions are typically, I would call them non-functionals, right? So Servoy will not build a CRM for you to start using, but these are, let's say, a little bit more under the hood, but are really common. And SVI security is one that's really, really common. Of course, there's other ways you can extend the platform with, and one, of course, which Sean just talked about is web components. So we have Google Maps, and you have now this editor. There's a bunch of them. Other things to extend is we also bring templates to the table, and those are all things which you can use to extend the platform, almost like plug and play, for you to use. Today we talk about Servoy security, which is, I think, one of the most common and most used extensions for the platform. A lot of our customers use this, and we today are also launching a couple of really nice features for SVI security. But maybe good, Sean, before we dive into that, I think that's on the next slide. Let's talk a little bit about what SVI security is for those who don't know what it is. Before you
right, yeah, because we have a mix of people evaluating Servoy in this webinar, and also some members from our community who might already know this. It's an extension that was developed over many years, in many iterations, to deliver a lot of the really core features of any business application that are required from a security point of view. From the beginning, Servoy has been able to allow developers to deploy applications which are multi-tenant. So we're talking about extensions that make it easy to manage potentially many separate company accounts into a variety of setups. It could be a multi-tenant database where you want to ensure that there's a strict data silo between companies, and one user never sees data for another company. It could also be a situation where you have multiple databases per, one individual database per customer, and you need to make sure that you're properly forwarding all the traffic for a certain user to the right database connections. And there's a lot of nuance in multi-tenancy as well. And this is a real requirement for companies as they were moving from many on-premise remote installations to something more of a hosted or a cloud or SaaS offering. Multi-tenancy becomes a real challenge architecturally, and since it was something we see so common, it was one of the very first features we included. After that, of course, there is user management, and these are controls to create, edit, lock, whatever users. And this is important to also be able to expose this for end users as well, because if you're a software vendor, you want to have some of your users with the capability to, invite people to use the application, or, add a new user or delete a user when someone's left the company. So that's kind of an obvious inclusion. Of course, we provide a variety of authentication mechanisms. So we have like the standard one, which is users and are stored in a database, and we authenticate them on password type basis. But there could be many integrations with Active Directory or LDAP or other identity management platforms, and the security extension allows for that type of integration. At the heart of it, there's control over who has access to which resources. And from the beginning, we've provided a powerful permissions engine, which can enforce permissions at the UI level and also at the data access level. So you can, as a developer, you can configure both and expose those to end users to distribute permissions to control who has access to what. We have session management, so a mechanism for tracking user sessions, when they logged in, when they logged out, and some other information around that that can be used to link with other logs and other data. This is a critical requirement for certain kinds of applications. And of course, that kind of links to full audit capability, which is a requirement for many businesses. We see this, of course, in healthcare applications, which not only have to audit changes to data, but they need to even audit who has seen which data. So we have the capability to audit on select as well. So that's all kind of falling under the umbrella of the security extension that has been kind of growing over the years.
What, Sean, this is all boring. What's new?
You already knew it.
Well, for most of us, who've been working with these extensions, most of our customers, this is kind of checking the box, right? It's so obvious that this is in for us. But I guess for competing platforms, a lot of this stuff is really, really difficult to get done right. But hey, this is Servoy.
Yeah. Well, it's often where you start too. You're going to build an application. People usually say, "Well, I want a login screen."
Yeah.
It's nice to just include it and it works. Yeah. So what's new? And that's why we're talking about this particular extension today. In this release, we've added token-based authentication. So I listed as part of the core features authentication mechanisms. This allows, you probably have used this on various cloud services, think like Gmail or something, or the whole Google suite. It allows you to remain kind of logged in or to remember devices so that if a user logs in once, they come back to the same machine and it will remember who they are unless they switch machines or go in incognito mode or something like that. This is a nice enhancement that has been requested for a little while, and we're happy to add it. And it leads to the next kind of feature that piggybacks on it, which is single sign-on. And this is, I think, more attractive because you can imagine a lot of our customers are software vendors, and they are delivering a suite of applications. So not just like a monolithic system, but it could be, they have the back office system. They want to, for example, sign into a CRM. But then if they want to then launch into a scheduling solution or something else, they go through the same login again, and their authentication is federated against a single point of entry. What we like to do is say, hey, you logged into one application, you're good. If you want to spin off another in another browser tab, for example, a different application, you can remain signed in. And this is all configurable, of course, and we'll be showing this in one of the demos on Friday's webinar.
All right, thanks for that, Sean. Yeah, you all know that Servoy Cloud is a really important part of our offering. And we're helping more and more of our customers with our cloud offering. It's important. The goal is to give them a full-fledged, let's say, worry-free integrated set of solutions running in a cloud, which helps them to go through this whole DevOps cycle, right? We have tools to plan the product, to roadmap planning, of course, code reviews, build, test, release, deploy, monitor, everything. And every day we work with customers, ISVs, who build all these complex applications, have a lot of demands, and add simple, small features to our cloud offering to get that better and more suited for what they do. So that's evolving, and typically it's smaller steps, I would say. But I think what we're really proud of is that today we can announce that we have now, with our data centers, worldwide coverage. In every major time zone, we are now covered. So yeah, and we can start rolling that out to production environments for our customers.
Yeah, I think what's also interesting is that an important aspect of Servoy Cloud is that it allows our customers to do test automation and test their applications for the full stack. So not just their own business logic, but also the complete stack, which could include Servoy itself. And we've always provided a way to test applications on like the next version of Servoy. So from our nightly snapshots, we have customers that will want to know if there's anything that breaks their application that we could be doing. I think that what we've added to the cloud with the inception of NG2 is immediately give the capability to build applications for NG2. So even before NG2 goes into a final release, we can allow you to generate builds and test those before making the migration. Another feature we added, which is I think a small one, but something that had been requested, is two-factor authentication, which can boost security for login to the Cloud Control Center, which I don't know if you mentioned, Ron, is the area where our customers can administer their whole delivery pipeline. So that's a nice addition as well on Servoy Cloud.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that evolving. Yeah, to sum it up, yeah, NG2 is really here. I really would like to encourage everybody to look at it. On Friday, of course, we're going to talk about that more. Those extensions, the Smart Documents Editor, really powerful editor that will come into everybody's download soon. The new security in SVI Security and Servoy Cloud. I think all in all, this is a really big release again for us. I would first of all like to thank the team here, the tech team, who's building all this stuff and release its stuff in time. So thanks for that. And yeah, I hope for our customers and the prospective customers that this is really, we're hitting again the goal that they want us to hit. So yeah, that's really good.
Ivo, you just appeared.
Hey, we're back. Sorry, I went to make another cup of coffee.
Oh,
Lucky you.
It's early morning here.
It was that boring, huh?
No, it was not. No, I could hear you guys, of course.
Ivo, do we get any questions come in? Well, we'll leave this slide up, which I think, Ron, do you want to say anything about the next steps? Will we leave this slide up and take some questions?
Yeah, let's first do the questions and then talk about this, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. I've got a few questions that kind of revolve around the same thing. Maybe if I translate it, it goes a bit like this. I remember when we introduced the web client, and all our customers were on Smart Client, and now had the opportunity to move to a browser-based solution. The question was, of course, is this a rewrite for us, right? And what do we need to do? Mm-hmm. I think the answer back then, and we saw that in practice, was like, no, it kind of migrated automatically, and you had the opportunity to take advantage of a lot of new things, and obviously that takes some work to take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. I think the same happened when we moved from web client to NG, and obviously we have a lot of people in this webinar right now asking the same question. So what happens now that we move from NG to NG2? I heard you guys say some customers won't even notice it. That sounds like a bit like magic. What in all reality, what is there to do, and what things can they take advantage of? What new things can they do with their applications?
Well, maybe first I'll put it here from the, let's say, top-down perspective. It's our goal to make such a migration effortless. And I think for certain applications, it will be virtually no effort. So I think that's good. And I think the tech team here did a really, really amazing job. I thought it was not really possible, but they did. But I guess maybe Sean can talk a little bit about that. The more responsibility people took in building their really custom stuff in NG client, the more responsibility they will have in NG2. And that's what we always talk about. You can take a lot of responsibility yourself in Servoy, but then we can't have that responsibility. So I think that's where, if you try to stay as close to what we do as you can, then it will be as effortless as possible. Maybe Sean, you can elaborate a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think that just to sort of qualify what the change is here, it's a bit different than the introduction of new clients in the past, because those were really functional leaps forward. When we went from a smart client, which was a desktop client, to the web client, it was going from native desktop application to a browser application. So it was a leap forward in terms of deployment. It was a leap forward in terms of what you could do. The same when we went from the classic web client to the NG client, it like opened up the front end architecture. So you had total UX freedom. A lot of that's why we have web components today. So all of those were like, if you're moving forward, you also want to be really aware of what's new and what you want to take advantage of and how you want to refactor your application to deliver on that. This one is a bit like under the hood. So kind of like we're replacing the engine, but the car is going to drive the same. And that's the idea. So as Ron said, if you stuck close to the standard components that we ship, we'll do all the work for you. And it really should be a seamless upgrade. There is the opportunity always to do custom stuff in Servoy. We like to have an open architecture, and the folks that usually take advantage of that understand that they'll have to kind of bring their own stuff along, and we can help with that as well when the time comes to sort of publish how to migrate your stuff.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, I got somebody that's asking a very naughty question. If you ask me, I hope you guys are ready for this. Why did you guys not move to React?
Oh. Shall I? I'll answer that one.
Good luck.
No, it's a good question, and it's maybe for some people a valid question, and it's not to be to not try to answer it in detail, but by the end of the day, I think for people who choose Servoy, it shouldn't really matter, right? I think people who choose companies who choose Servoy want to be unburdened and want a technology which works. And although React is beautiful, there's nothing wrong with React. We chose something different. And I think the platform enables you with what we chose to build whatever application you want and to bring that value to your customers. And maybe a couple of years ago, we had chosen a different path, but that was all right too. It's not by the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? It shouldn't really matter, because React is just another technology, and it has its good points and its bad points. And probably what we chose, Angular IO, what we use now, also had its goods. And yeah, the good thing is that we were able to keep what we chose really future-proof. And I think that's really what's the most important, and empower our developers and our customers to build whatever they want.
Okay.
And we can have at the bar a beer and talk about React or Angular, but that's a different discussion, I think.
I've seen those discussions in the past, Ron.
Nobody wins.
but it's always fun.
It's always fun, of course.
Yeah. I've got a question here about Servoy Cloud, a little bit of a logistics / DevOps question, I guess. Is it available in South or Latin America, Australia, and so let's say regions beyond North America and Europe?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why we say it's around the globe.
Okay. And
So,
that is thanks to us.
well, we are on Amazon.
Yep.
And we are able to use the Amazon data centers across the globe, but you still steer it from a central system, right? So for us, it takes serious effort to do this, but because we need a place where our applications land, basically, but we are able to scale to such regions also, and we have that in production as we speak.
Okay, cool. Somebody's asking, I've heard a rumor that you will drop table view forms in NG2, which would be a showstopper in our case.
Okay.
What's the deal there?
I can answer that one. This is obviously from a customer who is coming from older versions of Servoy, and We have brought along these are basically data grids, and we have brought those along all the way from the classic desktop client to the first generation web client to the next generation web client. In this case, the table view forms, I don't think we're going to migrate for NG2. They will run, by the way, Servoy NG1 will also run for a while. Okay, so there's no cliff at the end of the year, even though support for the underlying library AngularJS is end of support at the end of this year. For us, the NG1 applications will run for a few years, so there's no emergency there. At some point, though, this older stuff we can't move it forward. There is a lot of rich functionality, a lot of performance improvements in the grid components, and there's a way to I think to kind of automate the generation of those components from the classic table views. So if that's also a conversation for the bar, I think, or a private discussion, or one of the tech webinars.
Sean, I think what's good to mention that we've helped a lot of our customers migrate from smart client or classic web client to NG, and all of those we migrate from table view to grid components, and that's not a big effort.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
All right, next one, will NG1 be deprecated anytime soon, or what kind of timeline do you guys have in mind?
Sean, okay, go ahead, Sean.
Okay, yeah, I kind of just answered that. We won't be deprecating it anytime soon, and we're looking at kind of long-term support contract for that could run for, I think, a couple years, and so we're kind of evaluating this as we go, the nice thing is that your application can be deployed as NG1 or NG2, starting with this release. NG2 will be final at the end of the year. After that, we will ask the community to try to move forward as quickly as possible, and we'll make that as seamless as possible. And we'll evaluate, I think, the NG1 end of support as we go. But we have a long-term support available for NG1 for at least a year or two.
Okay. The next question kind of makes me smile a little bit. So this is bringing up another question. So what is the end of life for NG2?
2026.
2026. There we go. December 15.
Next question.
Who is that? Who asked that question?
Yeah, anonymous it says. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I've got a lot of. Jurgen says not me. Got you, Jurgen. There's a lot of technical questions that I think we should answer on Friday. There might be one that we can make a bit more generic. So somebody's asking, is NG2 faster? Can we answer that in a way like what benefits does it bring my end users as a software vendor when I migrate to NG2? What other things can I do?
Sean, you want to do that, or should I? Sure. Yeah. Well, as I said before, this is more or less a non-functional upgrade, a stack, under the hood type thing. There's obvious reasons why, it's a better library. One of which is performance. So we do expect better performance. If you know anything about Angular 1 and AngularJS and Angular, which is I know they sound the same, but they're radically different. That there's a big performance improvement there. So it won't be slower. I can say that. The other thing is for our own company, Servoy R&D, developing for NG2 is nicer. They get to use a TypeScript, and I think it's a bit nicer for them to work. So that also applies to people who want to do custom stuff as well. I think the ability to develop custom components and integrations in the browser will be a bit nicer. But in terms of how, you know, day-to-day usage, you shouldn't notice much difference.
Yeah, although you say it's not a big move, I would almost compare it with replacing a car's engine from a traditional engine to an electric engine, right? We need to keep our infrastructure really modern, I think. And from the outside, it probably doesn't look like a lot of value, but it is a lot of value, right? So yeah, it depends a little bit what perspective you take. And taking this forward will really help, I think.
Okay, I got maybe one last one that I personally don't understand. Will the NG2 client still use Eclipse, or has there been any more movement on moving IDEs?
Yeah, it'll still be based in Eclipse.
Okay.
So the NG developer, so the developer here, not the client, but
yeah,
that's the development environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's tons of questions about the smart doc editor, and if you can save to docs, and if you can do a mail merge, and if you can do background printing, and etc. People about SVUI security and LinkedIn and TypeScript, and why does Sean look so good, and will my end-to-end test still run? I think we should save most of those for Friday, unless you guys know why Sean looks so good. Otherwise, I think this is a wrap up. Very good job, guys, especially the whole team at Servoy in providing kind of this seamless upgrade path to NG2, and looking forward to the Friday demos and stuff.
Yep.
Demos.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jens.
Bye for now.
Bye.